I'm sorry, Dee. What am I going to get out of some girl with a tie-dye shirt who barely has any insight whatsoever in her content as it is, showing me autopsy photos of an 11-year-old boy who was stabbed so many times that I don't even remember the number, but he was stabbed incredibly so many times. He was shot. He was bludgeoned. Like, what are you going to get out of seeing those photos explained to you by some girl who has no insight in her content as it is, with no scientific background, with no background in you know, being a coroner or anything of that nature? She's not a doctor. She has no way of giving any educational explanation as to what you're looking at whatsoever. There's nothing but gruesome to it. I mean, I can't think of any other word than gruesome. Yeah, disclaimer, if I seem heated, it's only because I have been following this case since it happened 3 years ago. I'm not hung up on the legalities of it. I'm hung up on the question of whether or not it's decent. I mean, just because it's legal for you to do something, it doesn't mean that you should. You know, I mean, this like I said, if the argument is it's for educational purposes, well, where's the person qualified to educate you on what you're seeing? Mm-hmm. Where's that?
No, you can whitewash anything and make it sound like it's okay.
Which is exactly what she's doing. I agree with you.
Right, which is why you know, because there's a whole market out there of people who are interested in morbid things. That's right. I mean, even look at Zach Bagans' Haunted Museum in Las Vegas. You know, that contains things from murder sites and you know, people collect stuff that Ed Gein owned, or you know.
Oh, it's so sick, yeah.
And to me, this falls into that category. I mean, I can call it science or educational. It's morbid curiosity is what it is. And at the worst case, it runs into those people who watch those snuff films.
Yeah, let's just call it what it is. It's exactly what it is. It's morbid curiosity. It's not for educational purposes, because if you were looking to be educated, you would have a standard for who's educating you on this issue.
Exactly, yeah. And the thing is, what kind of education am I getting out of this?
Right.
You know,
because all the education you're going to need is just go back and watch the trial and listen to the testimony of the expert that was showing the reason why they were showing the autopsy photo in the trial.
Exactly.
Listen to that. You already have it. It's
that's
there.
Education. I don't need to see what level of decomposition or what a wound looks like.
No. Right.
You know, that doesn't educate me into any portion of my life, you know, unless I'm going to be a coroner. But yeah, I just see it as being morbidly curious. And I don't want to say that like ZavGirl is just, you know, this sicko or something. Not like that. I mean, some people are just curious to the point of minutia.
Oh, periwinkle violet. I agree.
She said that about herself. Even she said that she's one that likes to see every little thing. I mean, that's her though. You know, we can't like judge somebody and make them. I mean, and if it's a few people that she's sharing it with, it's not like she's making it a public thing and trying to educate people about this. I think it's for people that really want to see it. I don't know. I mean, I know it's morbid a little, of course, but
and see, I agree with Fairy Dust here. Completely agree with you. He's a minor. I don't think that nude photos of him should be nude autopsy photos. I get that it's a clinical thing at that point, even though I don't feel like it is. You know, like emotionally, I don't. But that's probably why they included him. I don't agree. I don't think that minors' autopsy photos should be given to the public via FOIA request. I just don't.
That can actually go into the CSAM aspect of this, because if there are genitalia in these pictures, that could be, you know, bait or interesting.
So when I was skimming through her live this morning, the end portion there, and I can pull it up and we can listen to it. Someone in the chat said they were blurred out. I don't know if anyone in here was in her page trying to saw them. Were they blurred? I don't know. Someone's got some echo.
I don't think they were blurred. I think people did blur them when they did the trial live. They were blurred in certain cases. Certain creators blurred them.
I don't even think it matters. You know, I mean, because you have case models going, she would never sell those autopsy photos. Well, technically, she's selling them. And Tracy Ann, I agree with you to a certain degree, but I don't completely agree with you. If you're putting it behind a paywall, whether somebody is already a Patreon member or not, then you're still technically selling those photos. You know, I mean, even if those people are already Patreon members, they're paying on a monthly basis, and they're paying for content, exclusive content that you wouldn't share to people who you're not charging money to. So at the end of the day, she's still charging money for those photos. Doesn't matter. I mean, the circumstances of it, she's selling this money. She's making money off of those photos. She's exploiting this child.
She said it cost her a lot of money to get the FOIA request. It cost quite a bit of money. And I actually, because I didn't believe that she did this, I was so upset because of the Kylie Rodney stuff. I went in and checked for myself, and yeah, they are actual photos, and she knows that she cannot post them on Facebook or YouTube. She knows she cannot put them on YouTube. She knows that. So they are actually behind a Patreon in a Dropbox. They're not even anywhere on YouTube. You have to go into her Patreon, pay to get in there. Once you get in there, you go into the Dropbox, and then it's a full video with everything showing. There is no, nothing is blurred out. They are, and she zooms in on it, shows a very graphic, very, very graphic stuff. It's a whole video. She put it in the video, and she talks through the video. She zooms in on body parts, and it just had me fucking disgusted.
Gross,
She
man.
zooms in on his body parts.
Yeah, certain body parts like certain wounds. She zooms in like when it just makes me sick. Okay, so he was found in a suitcase, and when they originally opened the suitcase, the pillow and his body came out. Like when he came out of this, I don't want to be graphic with you guys, and I'm sorry, trigger warning. I don't. Do you even want me to talk about it? Do you even want me to?
You're fine. This is true crime. We discuss these things, and right now we're talking about this.
She did this. I was like, I didn't even think it was. I thought, okay, you know what? Maybe somebody's taken this too far, and you know, they're just looking at like different pictures of like, you know, like his blankets and pillows and things like that. You know what I'm saying? I didn't think it was actual body. It's very, very graphic. Very graphic. Nothing is hidden. Nothing is blurred out.
The crime scene itself is graphic.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. We walking through
Just knowing that that's the blood of an 11-year-old is enough to trigger you.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
Yeah,
I had trouble even.
It's in on the pillow, guys, and I think the nastiest part that got me the look, I'm stuttering because it's got me fucked up.
Right.
I think the worst part of it was when she zoomed in on the pillow and she's like, "What are these strings? What are these strings?" And they were fucking maggots.
No. What?
And oh god, it's fucking disturbing, you guys. She zooms in on the pillow and she's like, "What are these? What are these strings? I wonder what these are." And she zooms in on it, and it's fucking maggots.
Okay, this is different. Like I'm envisioning
No,
as empathetic.
no,
clinical
it's
type
very
of
no.
going through the photos.
ZavGirl doesn't have empathy. ZavGirl
No.
sits up there and plays dumb. That's what she does. She does the most nefarious crap that a YouTube creator can do. She did it with the Kylie Rodney thing, and then she was just like, I don't know. She sits there with this dumb look on her face, like, I mean, what do you guys think? I don't know. And then she puts it all on her subs.
I don't know why people don't listen to me, man. Like, I tried to tell y'all about ZavGirl, like, a while back. I tried to tell y'all about ZavGirl. And, she's okay. You know, why are you always attacking people? Blah, blah, blah. Dude, this girl has no regard or respect for victims or their loved ones. It's in her track record. Like, and I didn't even know it. But apparently she goes all the way back to the Watts case. And I didn't even know that because I just stay the hell away from it. Like once that was it. You know what I mean? Once Chris Watts pled guilty, I was like, okay, next case. You know, how many years ago was that? Going on 5 years now? We're going on 5 years. People are still talking about that case. Now, I haven't heard her talk about it, but I discovered her during all the Kylie Rodney madness. And like she starts off doing things and I'm just kind of like, what? And then ends up like kissing Adventures with Purpose's ass. And then from there on just continues to spin not only the narrative that Adventures with Purpose did irresponsibly, and blaming Jagger for what happened to Kylie Rodney, which turned out to be an accident, which there's video proof of. And then not only does she do that, but she also just starts throwing mud everywhere. Like she goes live and then she's sitting there going through the videos of this party full of minors. Definitely, I'm sure there are minors. And she's sitting there pointing them out going, I want that person's name. I want that person's name. Who's that person? Look at how they're acting. Blah, blah, blah. Totally irresponsible. What if that's your kid just chilling at a party and they just lost their friend at the party? Brianna, thank you so much. Brianna 25. Love to see you and Queen on panel together, fighting on the same side. It's like the Olympians uniting to overthrow the chaos of the Titans. I don't know about all that. I mean, Deets opened up her panel. I jumped on because I had a lot to say about it. It was an open panel. I mean, the thing is it's not supposed to be shocking that creators who may or may not even get along see something that is as filthy as what ZavGirl did as exactly what it is. it shouldn't be shocking. And it's funny because it's kind of surprising in this community for some reason, because it's just so common for YouTube creators to be complete and utter unempathetic, unscrupulous shitbags. It happens constantly, you know? So, I mean, it was funny to listen to ZavGirl, and she's going, you know, we're adults. Like, no, that's not, no. An adult would have the respect for a parent who lost their child. An adult would have the respect for that child's memory. An adult would do everything that they can to try to preserve the memory of this child being happy and being kind and playful. You know, I mean, I made that little collage of pictures of Gannon, and I chose the most happiest ones to pick from. Landon gave me access to her pictures. She friended me on Facebook and gave me access to her pictures after I told her I was trying to do something nice like that. Nothing major, just something to put together before the trial. To apply, to make a FOIA request for Gannon's autopsy photos. And she decided to share them behind a paywall of her Patreon. And she did this knowing full well, because she was getting criticism for it. She tried to basically gaslight and she try to make us seem like we're the sick ones because we see an autopsy photo as sick. I don't see an autopsy photo as being sick. I see the things that happened to the child to make the autopsy photo necessary. I find that to be sick. But mostly I find the need to look at these photos without any plan whatsoever to educate yourself on the benefits of seeing those photographs. Because the only way that you would benefit from seeing these photographs, in my opinion, is either A, if you are seeking some sort of, if you have actually a fascination and a certain level of understanding of decomposure, and you have this interest in that sort of thing, and you have an interest in possibly being a coroner, I can understand that. Or the other reason would be because you're a sick, twisted fuck and you just get off on seeing gruesome ass pictures because you can't differentiate the gore in a horror movie for real life gore. I was angry about this case. I was angry about this case from the moment that it took place, the moment that I heard about it. And from the moment that it was confirmed that Letitia had allegedly killed Gannon, I wanted justice.
How she got around it was she didn't put it on Patreon. I forgot to even say that, honey. She didn't put it on Patreon. She put a fucking link to her Dropbox on her Patreon and said, you know, you got to pay $3 to unlock this link. Once you pay the $3 or whatever, you unlock the link, and it goes. That's even worse. The profile.
She knew she was doing wrong. That's why.
Fuck right she did. Fuck right she did. And when we talked about it last night, it was brought it to our attention. You know what I mean? Like we seen him talking about it, and then went and checked because I wanted to see for myself if that's really what she was doing because of the Kylie Rodney stuff. And I'm like, well, maybe somebody's just taking it wrong and they think it's the pictures. You know, like the autopsy, just like the photos of his blankets and pillows and clothing, and you know things like that. I was not prepared for what I walked into. I was not prepared for that, and I didn't think ZavGirl would even go that low. And I understand being, you know, the morbid curiosity. I get it, but this is an 11-year-old child.
Yes, ma'am. Do you know somebody, I don't know if it's been doctored up, but somebody's already making really messed up comments about the little boy's anatomy?
Yeah, and there, yeah, another thing too is it's not, no, and it's not blurred out or anything. It's correct. Yeah, no, it's not blurred. There's one picture there where it's blurred and several others where it's not.
Yeah, so what's the fucking point? And even if it was, even if all of them were blurred, that isn't even the point. It's like, okay, listen, like we could call this like for educational purposes. We aren't fucking detectives,
and we're not fucking
scientists. This is about morbid curiosity
and money. It's awful.
Yeah, the 2 M's: morbid curiosity and money. That's all it is. Let's not put lipstick on a fucking pig. Let's call it.
And then when I said to her, Zav, you got to think about the family and have some empathy, she's like, that's such a weak argument.
Oh, it is, like, really?
Is she a mom?
That's when I had to doubt.
She doesn't have to be a mom science girl. That's fucking sick.
Yeah, she's a mom.
She's a mother and still is all about that. Okay, all right.
She said it's our problem. Like, she was gaslighting us like a motherfucker when we went over to her chat.
You don't see these pictures on news websites. She can't use the.
Well, let's just see what the mother says then.
Come on.
Well, Science Girl, you know, he's got a sister. His sister. What if his sister comes across these someday? And I mean, there's already people who are putting the shit on fucking Reddit. There's already people who are putting it on websites, 4chan, and all that. Fuck that.
And she knew better. She knew.
Oh yeah, she fucking knew exactly what she was fucking doing.
Yeah.
And then she zooms in on it, and she's like, "Oh, what is that? That can't be a maggot. That's too long to be a maggot." But I wonder what it is.
Idiot.
Grass? Is it a grass? I wonder if it's a piece of grass. It could be a piece of grass.
And miss me with that nice girl. Miss me with that innocent girl act, dude, with your fucking surprised eyebrows and shit. Get the fuck out of here. You know what the fuck you're doing.
Zav is not a mom.
That doesn't even matter, though. This is about being a good human.
But it makes it even worse that she's a mother. I'm just saying.
I get what you're saying. Like, I'm a mom, and I get what you're saying. But it's just like,
no.
I try to, like, not make that distinction often.
Yeah, I get it. I get it.
That's fucking disgusting. And the people that pay her to go view them, you got to understand, their character is very dark and vile.